Hello everyone, Matt Mitchell here. You can call me Mitch. For the final lesson, week 7, lesson 6, we are going to be doing 4 different synthesizers and showing off the features of each so you can see the oscillator, filter, amplifier, envelope, and LFO sections where applicable. Okay, so the first one I have is within GarageBand, a built-in synth here called Vintage Synth Bass. That's just a patch for what's going on here. So as you can see right there, we've got a waveform, 3 different waveforms that you can choose from. Okay, and so that's your oscillator section. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there's also a sine wave that you can mix in and out of that in addition. Okay, next over here we have our filter section. There's a cutoff here. Okay, or make that higher, and so you can hear what that's doing. There's a resonance, so we can crank the resonance and get a little bit of self-oscillation going on there, or turn it back down and get more of a normal thing. Okay, and then there's also a little bit of an envelope here, very basic, only an attack. So I turn that down, it's almost down, and it's pretty instant. Turn it up, and now listen. Of course, it's not being very cooperative, but anyway, that's the A of the ADSR right there. Perhaps if I adjust that. Okay, moving on then, we're going to go to an iPad app that I have open here called Synth. And Synth is a really simple yet really fun little iPad app that's also free, has a free version, which is what we're using here. Okay, so we have 2 oscillators here with variable waveforms, square, triangle, and a couple of sawtooths going each direction. Okay, and then you can mix them together to get varying different sounds, and also has a glide or portamento thing there. Okay, next section is our envelope here, so give it some release. So you see, this is just the basic envelope here. We also have a tuning feature, but we haven't covered that in class, so I'm going to skip that. Okay, and then we have a filter here and an envelope that controls the filter. So instead of having one filter, then you can choose whether or not you're going to use the envelope for the VCA or for the filter. This one has that control too. So watch as I and you can hear that working. Okay, next thing we're going to do is check out a hardware synth over here, the Arturia Mini Brute. A lot of you are probably familiar with this one because it is very inexpensive and very good, and a lot of people have one of these in their studio. So here's our oscillator section. We've got, it's one oscillator, but we can choose 4 different waveforms. We have, I have the square going right now, or you have triangle, and you can mix them all together to get different sounds. Here's our filter section. Okay, you hear that working with resonance, and if you get the resonance going, it can go really crazy. And then it's got this brute factor, which is like a distortion. So that can get going really, really crazy for you really fast. This has a patch bay on it, so you can change what the LFO and what the VCA are going to. That's a really neat feature. Skipping this for now, we're going to go to the LFO, and by default it's set to pitch, so you can hear that working. Pretty cool. And then we have an envelope, and I'm going to turn the envelope on over here, and you can hear that working. There we go. It's got a really long release on it. Okay. And so there we are. We are out of time. No, I have one more for you. I'm so sorry. We're going to go a little bit long, but I wanted to show you this because it is so cool. You're saying, Mitch, excuse me, breaking rule number 1 there, plugging in something that's turned on with an amplifier. What's an old combo organ got to do with synthesis? Well, I'm going to show you. That's what these old electronic organs were, the very first synthesizers. Okay, so we don't have any controls, we don't have anything over here that indicates that there's an oscillator going on, but that's what it is, and we do have some control over how it sounds, because we've got these little rocker knobs that have different patches in them. Okay, so that's basically just adjusting your waveform and your filter to make different sounds. Okay, and then we have an LFO section on it too. They call it vibrato because that's really what it's doing. But if I turn the vibrato on, all we have is a low frequency oscillator, a low frequency oscillator over here with variable depth and variable speed. Going on. So that's why I wanted to show you guys this, because it is truly an analog synth of the first order, of which things like this came from, and where digital ones like this then we're emulating. I'm sorry for going long. I hope you don't count me down for that. I just wanted to show you as much as I could with all this stuff. Okay, good class. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next year. Bye.